Good evening, welcome to the Professor Maima Show. Hope you are doing well wherever watching me from around the world. Please subscribe, share, and like this video. So, of late in Kenya here, we have a big problem, and this big problem has to do with the young men, because a good number of them are unemployed, and we have two categories of young men who don't have jobs here in Kenya. We have people who have papers. Here in Kenya, papers is the university degrees, college degrees. People who have dropped out of school, people who are skilled and skilled, you name it, isn't it? And then there's another category of Ben 10s. The people I want to talk to you today, Ben 10s. These are young men, also between 25 to 40, because that's the age whereby you have good body, physique, you don't have hair loss like mine here. So, in other words, you eat well. Most of them go to gym, and one thing about them these days, I don't know if it's by coincidence, it's called having a big beard, cultivating a very big beard. This man with a beard, if you were to give him a djembe, he can't dig. But if you give him drinks, let's say alcohol, you give him cigars, he'll take. Some of them can even take a whole whiskey bottle, those ones which cost $30 and above, isn't it? So that's what I'm talking about. Kenyan lazy men. Kenyan lazy men. These are young men who are more so educated, between the ages of 20 to 40, let's say 20 to 40 years. They go to the gym, they're always strong. So now what these young men do, after finishing school and not getting a job, so most of the time they live in their parents' home for a while. Then they get their woman, also a woman in her 30s, desperate because of the biological clock. You see, a man can marry at 50, 60, but for a woman, they have to marry early so that they can have children before menopause, isn't it? That's biological. That's a fact. So now, when they meet these young women, they're desperate, then they keep them. The women keep the men. And there's a story of a young man who was kept by a woman. It happened where I used to live in this, it's called middle income estates. In Kenya, middle income means it's an estate whereby there's no drainage system. There's no space even to park your car. People live like sardines, packed in sardines, but they're cheap. They're what? You can live on top of a bar or a pub. In America, they say pub, you call bar. It's in top of a hotel, next to a brothel. So where I used to live, next to it, there used to be a church where people would make noise the whole night. And then there will be a brothel next, there will be a bar. So it's just a mixture. So this young man was kept there. Now the woman who had kept this young man in his early 30s, that woman was a mistress of a top government official. So the mistress was in her late 40s. She was in her early 40s. She had she was a baby mama, but she was a mistress of a powerful man. So she had money. She was even driving a Range Rover, from what I was told, a big car. So now she kept this young man who was in his 20s, 25 years. He had finished school, graduate, no job, stayed with his parents for a while, tried this, it's called hustling, small jobs here. But him, he wanted something big. So when he met this woman in church, and that's another place, there are people who hide in church, this especially more the young men, to prey on women who want to settle down. Because now they're into church, maybe they want spiritual intervention, isn't it? But I know how they will solve that problem. That's a topic for another day. Now, on the parts of women, how women can be able to get partners in good time, enjoy career, enjoy children, enjoy everything. So now, this young man, let's call him Ben. The woman was called, we can call him Sydney. The woman was called Sydney. And then the man was called Ben, because it's a Ben 10. So the man was called Ben. The woman was called, okay, let's just give them Ben and Sylvia. So the woman was called Sylvia. The man was called Ben. So Ben, Sylvia. Sylvia is the man, is called the cougar. In America, they say cougar. Here we call them sugar mommy. So the woman is in his 40s, the man in his 20s, mid-20s. So they have a relationship. The man is kept there, hidden. Because I was wondering why would the man just tell the woman to take him to a good estate, middle class, maybe South Sea, where he will just put him in those sides of Eastlands. So they continue the relationship. Now this man, as the way it is, he asks the woman to buy for him a car. He buys him a small car. You know, the woman was also was mean with the money. He buys him, I think it was a Vitz, something like that. But the young man is good, he's clever. He goes, pimps the vehicle, puts in sound system. The young man pimps, so it's a good car. So he moves it around, it puts in all those, it's called engine boosters that make the car move fast. So now, in time now, the women around who used to ignore him start taking account because the guy has wheels. He's not number 11. He has cars. He can move over the weekend when he's not with the sugar mommy. He can take the ladies for it's called here, we like for a trip, for a trip on the road. Just the word is passing me in the mind. Road trip, yeah. They can go, Kenyans love road trips over the weekend. They go on the outskirts counties, Kajiado, you name it, Nakuru to roast meat, goat meat, isn't it? So he starts having relationship with another younger girl who's in 21, his age mate, also it's a Gen Z. So the other woman, who's the mistress of a big person, is always traveling with a big person. But now with the time, this woman starts hearing rumors that your small boy there is having a relationship behind your back. And this woman is very, how can we say, this woman who are calling Sylvia, Ben and Sylvia, I confused the names. This woman who you are calling Sylvia is very possessive, isn't it? So she has a detective to follow this young man, Ben. In no time he has all the info on this young man, where he goes, takes pictures, the relationship, intimate pictures when they are going swimming with this young girl in coast wear. So one day, the sugar mommy calls the young man when he's with the lady somewhere very far. So this young man has to cook up a story. But now the cougar, the sugar mommy, found out that this is really true. That she's being cheated on by this, it's called what? By this young man, this Ben 10. And that guy had a big beard, this Ben had shaggy hair, well built, going to the gym, dark, they say tall, dark, and handsome. He was tall, dark, and handsome, the way they say. So now, this is called what? This Sylvia organizes a hit squad. Pays someone. Here in Kenya, someone can kill you anyhow. They can just hire anyone to kill you. So he has a killer man. He gives him the key and accesses the house of this young man. And when the young man comes, he does what is paid, strangles the young man. And then now, investigation, but it hits a dead end because no one is even, he was seen on the cameras, the killer, but he was covered. So with the time, now this rich woman has money, because the things of the suspicion was directed towards her. Maybe she wanted to kill her lover, but because she's connected to a big man and she has money, the case disappears. That's what I'm saying. Kenyan lazy men, they want to take advantage of women, and it turns out bad, like in the case of Ben. So if our Kenyan men, lazy men, would learn that their skills and talent can make them rich, they will change course. Because we have had these young men on this, it's called what? On this YouTube, earning a lot of money. There are so many cases. You have a young man, he has nothing in his pocket, but he has a smartphone. I need to do a research on whereby young men who have no money have smartphones. That's a good research. But they make money online and they improve their lives. So that's what I'm talking about. Kenyan lazy men. They are lover boys, Ben 10s, who take advantage of, who hook up with older women, and most of the time it ends bad. It can end in death, like in the case of Ben. It can end in injuries. It can end in even in suicide. It can end even in jail term if the woman finds finds that you have played her, she can cook up something and you get jailed. They find even drugs on you. You see. So that's why we're talking about Kenyan lazy men. They want shortcuts. They want love, romance to get free money, which is wrong. A man is hard work. A man is to wake up in the morning before the cock crows and goes and gets something. It can be small, but one day you'll be telling your grandchildren how you started from zero. There are people who have been poor until they reach their 50s and all of a sudden they become millionaires. Now that's a good story. Then a person who has been preying on women and ends up poor when he's a very old man, isn't it? So this is the Professor Maima show. I want to pray for you who's watching me that you have a long life and your dreams become reality and become rich and prosperous, not only you, your children, grandchildren, and all your generation. I pray that to be rich and prosperous. Also pray for our country to be prosperous and have wise leaders. Those are my prayers. Amen. And as I always say, Gwaheri ya kuonana, Gwaheri.